So I'm trying out this thing with the using the tripod up on the dash, and it's actually not bad. It's kind of cool. But then I look like a fucking weirdo to the guy next to me. I look like a weirdo next to the guy next to me because he just sees the phone there and like it's like my reflection, so it just looks like I'm staring at myself the whole time. But it's pretty cool. I like these little stands, they really make a difference. But if you don't have any place to hook it onto, it kind of sucks. I tried putting it on the rear view mirror when I was up north, but that didn't work too well because the phone was heavier on one side and it kept moving the mirror. But on the dash, hooking one leg into the dash and then spreading the other ones out so they're kind of like a stabilizer more or less, that worked pretty well. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was my review, more or less, I guess, of Jurrasic World. Were you just as frustrated with the fact that he had no idea what the fuck that thing was made out of? It was so ridiculous to introduce Chris Pratt as a Velociraptor like whisperer per se, and then he's like, oh, well, what's this thing made out of? A T-Rex and what else? And they're like, oh, we can't tell you that. But he's supposedly an expert in this, and he should have figured that out really early on. There's no fucking way he didn't know that until the very end. The whole Velociraptor thing that he has these kinships with makes no sense to me. They would have torn that dude apart. Yeah, I guess it's a thing based on mutual respect and all this other weird shit, but it makes no sense. Their instinct is to kill. There is no them being, oh, let's cuddle. That's so dumb to me. I don't know. The whole thing with the water beast fucking eating that thing, like as soon as it got near the edge of the water, I was like, oh, there it is, because that's what they're gonna use to kill it with. I am more concerned with the well-being of the water beast's future life, because now the island is going to be deserted and that poor bastard's stuck in the pool. And so I don't know, like, it just, some of the stuff didn't make any sense to me. And then like they're splicing spines and shit in that other room and nobody had the balls to figure this out. The Indian guy driving the fucking helicopter makes no sense. I'm using a lot of F-bombs. But anyway, so it's just, I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff. I liked it. It was a real stroke of like, hey, this is your childhood and this is what you remember as your childhood. And that was really cool. But at the same time, I'm like super troubled. Like, why the fuck are they doing this? I've been playing Hearthstone pretty religiously lately. Well, you don't really get on battling it much, so. But I bought the Blackrock Mountain expansion, and there's this one fucking monster that I'm using a lot of F-bombs that I can't stand, but I keep using them, but it always seems to work in everybody else's favor, but when it comes to doing anything nice for me, it doesn't ever work. There's this thing called Grim Patron, and every time, so if it takes damage and it doesn't die, it summons another Grim Patron, and that Grim Patron has that same thing. So you could put one down, and the first time I had seen it, somebody played this thing called the Bouncing Blade. So basically he played two Grim Patrons, played the Bouncing Blade, and the Bouncing Blade hits an enemy for 1 damage, and it keeps bouncing until something dies. So by the time something had died, he already had like a full board of Grim Patrons, and it was fucking annoying. I'm using a lot of F-bombs. Oh god. And then so I bought Blackrock Mountain, and now I have Grim Patron, but it never works for me. The amount of weird people I keep seeing in Fresno just continues to trip. Oh! The amount of people I keep seeing in Fresno, like the weird factor just keeps increasing like every single day. And even then, I don't spend that much time in Fresno, or I don't spend that much time like rolling around and stuff, but I'm out by the mall meeting my family, and there's a lot of weirdos out here.